Good morning, everyone. It's early. I've been up most of the night as Sarah had a rough patch. Um, she's finally settled back down and the numbers are back to normal, so hopefully she sleeps in for a little while this morning. It's been a stressful weekend. Friday morning, the van was in the shop yet again. Most of you that follow Sarah will know that she got locked into our van Thursday morning as there was a wiring malfunction. I was able to get the side doors open to get a breeze. Luckily, it wasn't a hot morning. And my brother-in-law, luckily enough, works just a couple blocks up the road from us, was able to come down, climb through the back end of the van, and use the emergency pull to open the back end of the van so I could get Sarah out. My next step, if he wasn't available, was to call 911 because I wasn't sure what to do. You know, when you become a caregiver to a child or a sibling or a parent, you're pretty much aware that there's going to be medical needs. But what you are not told about are the other financial burdens that you will have. Like this van, we've been, this is our third adaptive van for Sarah, and each one's had its own problems, but most used vehicles do. But this one is just, we bought it 2 years ago, and we paid $30,000 for it. Why so much? Well, it was $15,000 for the van, and then another $15,000 in modifications that we had to pay for. Later on, we found out the modifications were already done, but we were charged for them anyway. So far, we've spent over $7,000 in the last 2 years on repairs of this van. We purchased it out of another state. They had brought it down to show me, got to test drive it. They took it back, said they were going to do this whatever 10-point inspection, which I don't think they ever did. Then they shipped it down to us, which was at our expense as well. But this company, you know, like other companies, they know that you have to have this so that they know that they can overcharge for it and get away with it. And it's not just the vehicle expense. There's other equipment, you know. For example, her wheelchair. This wheelchair is a quarter of the size of a golf cart and yet costs over 40 grand. Most of it's plastic, but there again, they know that you need this, and they know that either you or the insurance company is going to end up paying for it, or your child is going to lose their independence. This wheelchair that Sarah just got a few weeks ago was pre-approved through our insurance company. Then, once we got the chair, I get a phone call from the medical company saying that the insurance company is only going to approve it as a rental. But they paid for everything on the chair, the seat, the toggle switch, the tray that we made special for the vent, the battery that was made special to hold the battery that goes to the vent. But the body with the motor on it, they're only agreeing to rent that. Um, so the medical company is calling me about it. I'm telling them, deal with it, figure it out, work with the insurance company. Some of this comes down to codes. Every piece of medical equipment, even the tiniest part, has a code. Each medical company has a different code for this part. And then the insurance company has an even different code for the same part. So if the medical company enters in one code, the insurance company will kick it back and say, we won't cover it under that code. You have to enter it in a different code, and so on and so forth. And then the argument ensues. And then both of them are calling me. And all I want to say is, get your shit together and figure out the frickin' codes. It's completely different. None of them want to work together. And then pharmacies, your medications, and the supplements that Sarah needs. Supplements, not even covered. Those all come out of my pocket. So if your child can't eat enough, you might get your company to cover like the Pediasure, which is full of sugar, to get them the extra calories. But they're not getting the nutrition that they need if they can't eat the food that they need. My daughter has a hard time swallowing and processing different foods, so we have to use supplements. None of these supplements are covered because they're not considered necessary. Thanks. Each pharmacy accepts different insurance. Not all of them accept your type of insurance. So you have to fish around and figure out which pharmacy will accept your insurance and will work with you on the copays. Then you get into nursing. Talk about a joke. When Sarah, when she's first in the hospital, when she got her trach, the only thing we cared about was getting her healthy. Once she started getting healthy, the only thing we cared about was getting her home so we could hug her and love her. And then they tell you, well, you can only go home if you have 24-hour care nursing. Okay. We had 24-hour care nursing. Never. We were lucky to get nighttime coverage, to which half of those nurses I fired because they were sleeping. I couldn't sleep at night, even though I had a nurse, because I had to keep an eye on the nurses. And I'm not bashing nurses, because we've actually had 4, over the 12 years, 4 out of the dozens of rotating nurses we've had, 4 that have been fantastic and I would take back in a heartbeat. The rest of them, they show up late, or they don't call or show up at all. They take time off whenever they want to. And then they get mad when you don't give them the hours they want. I have bent over backwards to be accommodating. And it's just ridiculous. And the nurses, some of these, they really don't care because they know there's going to be the next desperate family that'll take them in and put up with their crap. And the nursing companies put up with it. They're afraid to fire these nurses because there's already a nursing shortage in their company. So the nursing companies put up with it. And then they don't actually do background checks on some of these nurses. All they can do when they hire a nurse is ask the company, would you hire him again? Yes or no. So the company won't tell them, well, they have a habit of being late, or they have a habit of calling in, or, they have a couple families that they didn't get along with or wouldn't work with. They can't tell you any of that. They just say yes or no whether or not you'd hire them again. And most nursing companies will just say yes, so that the next nursing company will hire them. I've trained nurses, because I think only 2 of the nurses I've ever had, no, 3, ever had any trach training at all. So they come into my home inexperienced, not knowing how to change a trach, not knowing the different kinds of trachs, not knowing how to run a ventilator. I train them, and then you know what they do? They use that on their resume to move on and get a better job after being here only 3 months. So as for the nursing, I'm done. I'm done. I will go without sleep. It's so much less stressful than actually putting up with the crap. And again, I'm not saying all nurses are bad. I'm just saying I've had a pretty sucky ass run of it. And yes, I'm a little angry, so pardon the language. And this all goes back to the stupid healthcare bill that everyone's fighting over and saying we need and we don't need, and blaming Obama and blaming Trump. We really have no one to blame but ourselves, because we keep electing these people and re-electing these people. Term limits? Does no one not get that? Have any of these Republicans or Democrats or independents sat down with a family like mine to even glimpse into the world that we deal with on a daily basis? The medications, the pumps, the equipment. No, you haven't. You're just going off of a bill that you see that you're not getting what you want out of it. Sit down with our family. See what we need. See what we go through on a daily basis. Anyway, I'm just venting. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm tired. But again, I'd do it all over again for her. See how happy she is when you follow my Facebook page. She's happy, smart, beautiful. I want each and every one of you that's watching this today to shut off all your technology, look at your child in the eyes, and tell them how amazing, smart, and beautiful they are today. Because you never know. Peace, love to all. Have a good day.